Muslim society in Medina Munawwara. Whoever is able, who is not able, he does have an excuse, who will be excused by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshaAllah ta'ala. And Allah mentioned that in the Quran al-Kareem. And those for they were living in with their tribes, the Bedouin people, they have to come at least to learn their minimum Islamic teaching and instructions, and then go back to their tribes and teach them what they have learned from the Prophet ﷺ about Ramadan, about the Hajj, about wudu, salah, all these things.
Was that considered hijrah? They're coming to learn?
Yes, but that was like a very short period of hijrah. They used to come and spend period of time with the Prophet ﷺ, living with him, praying with him, watching him ﷺ. That was a very comprehensive course, very concentrated course from these people. They were learning from his university ﷺ, by watching him ﷺ. And all of us, we know that the Prophet was not at that time, or even after that time, the person to speak too much or talk too much. Most of his education, most of his way of teaching was by showing others how he lived, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Yes.
But some people, they used to have some questions. He used to answer them, alayhi salam. How many rak'ah they should pray, how much zakah they should pay the charity. So the people, they used to carry this information, this knowledge, and take it back to their tribes, their families, and teach them what they have learned from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now we said that the Sahaba, after that, they have conquered Makkah al-Mukarram, right? They came back.
Yes. After
they left Makkah al-Mukarram, after they left their families, their people, sometimes their mother, father, maybe sometimes their children, their wealth, they came back by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, recapture Makkah al-Mukarram. We'll talk about the Muslims' thought, the Muslims' mentality and attitude when they are able to come back after being a defeated people, appears to be. But that will be later on, inshallah. But anyway, when that happened, the conquest of Makkah al-Mukarramah, it did make like a very strong line to distinguish between two periods of time before the conquest of Makkah al-Mukarramah and time after the conquest of Makkah al-Mukarramah. Our Muslim scholars, they said that majority of them, and should be the right opinion, inshallah ta'ala, that after the recapturing Makkah al-Mukarramah, hijrah or migration from Mecca to Al-Madinah or from any place to Al-Madinah was not used to be before.
Okay.
Because the Muslim society has been established already. Makkah al-Mukarramah was not at that time, at any time, the place of disbelief, has become the place of Iman, the place of Islam. So they don't have to leave Makkah al-Mukarramah to go al-Madinah Munawwara. At least they like just to go and have this beautiful company of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yes.
So that's why we can explain his saying, saying, La hijrata ba'd al-fath.
Okay, we'll stick a pin right here and we'll explain that hadith, inshallah, after we take a short break here on The Straight Path, and we'll be back right after this.
Now my world is bright, Islam is my sight.
Earth, the human heart, greed, exploitation, hatred, all diseases of the heart. For the cure, join Huda TV every Sunday at 20 GMT for Moments for the Heart.
My world is bright, Islam is my sight.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. You're watching The Straight Path. Our topic today, understanding the meaning of hijrah. And still with us, Dr. Muhammad Naim Saeed. You were just mentioning the hadith which the Prophet ﷺ said that there is no hijrah after the conquest of Mecca.
Yes. So in that hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, when he said, لا هجرة بعد الفتح, there is no migration after the conquest of Makkah Mukarramah, he was referring, according to the Muslim scholars' opinion, to a certain kind of hijrah. That hijrah, it was must on the Sahaba, on the everyone, when they were establishing the Muslim society in Medina Munawwara, before the conquest of Makkah Mukarramah. So this specific hijrah is being stopped.
That's the one. Which one is completely stopped?
The one was must from everywhere to Al-Madinah Munawwara.
Okay.
Like from anywhere to a specific place. From anywhere to Al-Madinah Munawwara itself.
Yes.
That was must.
Yes.
Before the conquest of Makkah Mukarramah. After the Sahaba recaptured Makkah Mukarramah, that's what he said, لا هجرة بعد الفتح. That means that hijrah from anywhere to Medina specifically, it is ended.
Is it the idea of the compulsory hijrah or the idea of migrating to Medina?
No, because the Muslims, they said at that time the Sahaba, they were starting the next stage of their establishment of this deen. So the wisdom was to suggest that instead of making the hijrah from any place of Medina as a must, now make it optional now. So we could make sure that Muslims, wherever they become Muslims, they are able to spread al-Islam in their place. And Makkah al-Mukarramah especially. Makkah al-Mukarramah has become a place of Islam and faith and Iman.
Yes.
So we'd like to capitalize this and invest this in new era in the Muslim history and make more establishment for more Islam, more societies to go everywhere, inshallah. So that way, that kind of hijrah is being ended, is being finished.
Yes. So it would give mobility towards the spread of Islam.
Yes, exactly. Now, the other hijrah of those who they were in some places, they become Muslims, but they don't feel safe about their deen because many circumstances surrounding them, they are not feeling the freedom of their religion. They cannot practice their Islam the way it should be. Those people, and they are able to migrate to Al-Madinah or Makkah Mukarramah, or any place they have Muslims or Islam, it is must on them at that time.
Okay, mashallah.
So this is the second or maybe the sixth kind of hijrah, like migrating from a place where you don't feel safe about your Islam, you cannot practice your religion freely, and you have the ability to move to a different place like Medina at that time, Makkah Mukarramah. You should do it. It is must at that time.
Okay, I just want
this kind of hijrah, what he mentioned, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-hijratu is going to stay to the day of judgment. Al-hijrah la tanqati'.
So that's another hadith.
Yes.
That the hijrah would never stop.
Yes.
So are we seeing a contradiction here?
No. As we said, if you filterize all of this, categorize all of this, you're going to come up with these results.
Okay. And
the hijrah from any place to Medina, it was before Makkah conquest and it stopped.
Yes.
Hijrah from anywhere in this world to any Muslim's land where you don't feel safe about your religion and you are able to move, it is must.
It is must.
Yes.
Okay, so let's bring it to today's world. The word hijrah in this year, in this time, in this contemporary time, when so many Muslims are facing these challenges, especially in Western countries. Some countries have went to the level of banning hijab in their schools, the rights of Muslims to have a work if they have a beard, and so forth. How do we implement the idea of hijrah in today's world?
Well, before going to that explanation about the hijrah of our modern time and the application of the original rules of Islam on these people, let us just try to make a little, very brief and quick but deep at the same time study about the Muslims' conditions, how they made their hijrah in our modern time.
Okay.
Because we have seen the Sahaba how they made it.
Yes.
And we could take the sense of the reason of their hijrah, right?
Yes.
So we could say that most likely, in our modern time, we have a sense of the reason of their hijrah, right?
Yes.
On the time of the Sahaba, we cannot say most likely. We could say originally was for that reason,
yes.
right? So the deen, the Islam, was the reason,
Yes, was the
the
primary
major
primary
purpose,
fact,
right?
factor of their
The
hijrah.
major motivation for the Sahaba to leave their countries, their land, their homes, their children, their wealth, to go to Al-Madinah Munawwara, or to go to Mecca, maybe after the conquest of Mecca Mukarramah, for the safety of their deen.
And that's there is no disagreement towards this.
Something sometimes bring surprising, feelings when you hear some stories. How the Sahaba, they were categorizing people on their time.
Subhanallah.
Wallahi, la ilaha illallah.
Subhanallah.
I just I just have some numb on my skin. How the Sahaba at that time, because we have different impression, different scales, different measurement in our life that reflect our practical life. The Sahaba were categorizing everything in their life according to their Islam. So they were categorizing some people and putting them in different file. If they got a feel or sense by proof or evidence that that man or this lady were not moving or leaving their land for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And remember the hadith Nabi alayhi salam.
Yes, that's the main reason why I asked the question.
So إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى فما كانت هجرته إلى الله ورسوله فهجرته إلى الله ورسوله وما كانت هجرته إلى دنيا يصيبها وامرأة ينكحها فهجرته لما هاجر إليه. This is a very famous hadith, right?
Yes.
But the story behind the hadith, we have a very it's very sound good story according to the hadith sciences. Measurement. It does sound good, that hadith. They heard that about a man. He was approaching a lady called Qais. He was approaching her for a marriage issue, and he was offering her to marry her. He was not a Muslim. The lady, she said, well, I cannot marry you. You are not Muslim. I am Muslim. And that lady was about just to leave Mecca Mukarramah to Al-Madinah Munawwara as an immigrant, to migrate from her own home and leave everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that person, he was in a maybe deep love with this lady. He wanted to marry her. But there is some kind of barrier against his will, which is that he is going to leave for the sake of Allah. She is Muslim and he is not. He's not even thinking about leaving. He's not Muslim yet. So what is the solution for him? He said, well, if he loves her, that's what I'm saying, that he's doing it to himself.
Yes.
If I love that lady, let me just make it up. Let me just become Muslim and live and migrate with her. So the story talking about that person, that he did become Muslim. He did migrate from Mecca to Medina to marry that lady. So they used to call him the immigrant of Qais.
Yes.
The Muhajir Qais. So that gives you the sense of the Sahaba, how they were so much, into that meaning of purifying that big step in their life for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes.
So now if you'd like to talk about the hijrah today,
Yes.
and our modern migration of Muslim people from their countries to different countries, and you'll be surprised by telling you we don't have only hijrah from Muslim countries to non-Muslim countries or Muslim countries to the West. We have hijrah from Muslim countries to other Muslim countries.
Yes.
But I'll tell you how much the very weak and backward thought of Muslims in our modern time did affect on their, that big move in their life. So we have today people leaving from Muslim countries to the West. Right? We have millions of Muslims living in the West.
Yes.
Right? We have millions of Muslims born in the West. Because of that big move in the life of their parent, their grandparents, something like this. What is the most likely, the major reason behind this migration? Just to be like statistic, to be just, to be fair, to be logic, most likely was not for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Was not for the deen. Was like for the we're not saying that was haram. So we're not saying that their hijrah was a
sin,
prohibited, or they were sinners. No, I'm just talking about how to see it. Was reason behind it.
Yes.
So most likely was not for the reason of protecting their deen or having freedom of religion. They were afraid of not having the same practice at the Muslim countries, so they could find it in the Western countries for like having a new job, a new investment, a new life, making more money, maybe studying, having good career in their maybe field, physicians, engineering, all of this.
Yes.
This most likely
Future
the
for the
reason
kids
behind.
and so forth.
Yes, subhanallah. So that is this is the first distinction between the first generation and the second generation. The first distinction between the meaning of the hijrah was in the mind of the Sahaba, radiallahu anhu ardahum, and the reason or the meaning of the hijrah in the mind of our Muslim ummah in our modern days. But we have many people, we have many Muslims, hundreds of thousands of Muslims, they leave their countries, their original countries, going to the West for that reason, for that cause, to protect their deen, to have freedom of religion. We have these people, but they are not the majority. They are the minority of the whole maybe package of the people they have migrated from Muslim countries to others. Now, what was the effect now of this thought, of this understanding on Muslims they have migrated from their countries to different countries? Unfortunately, the result were very, very discouraging, disappointing. The Sahaba, when they moved, imagine, this is like a real comparison now. It's like a fact. The Sahaba, they moved from Mecca al-Mukarramah. They were very weak. Most of them, they were among low-class people, very humble tools, methods, but they have a big time effect on the people of the Habasha, the people of the Ethiopia at that time.
Yes.
Till the king himself become Muslim.
Subhanallah.
Very little capabilities, very humble tools and means, but strong iman, strong faith,
the heart of
sincerity with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When these people, they see people are leaving Makkah Mukarramah at that time, Makkah Mukarramah was not like a backward place. People, they like to go to Makkah Mukarramah, at a place where traders that they came from everywhere, people of high education, they came to show that what they have in their
poetry.
Yes. So it was like a place of festivals.
Yes.
People to leave Makkah al-Mukarramah and to go to Al-Habasha, crossing the Red Sea, with these conditions and circumstances, they have to have some strong reason behind them. That made the effect on the people of the Habasha.
Yes.
They were thinking, what is behind these people? And the king himself, you know the story when the people of Makkah, they sent some people of them to try